For the purposes of court order desegregation, about 10% of Lincoln High School student bodies should be white. 2,600 are expected to be enrolled eventually. However, yesterday only 5 white students showed up. Today, only 15. We talked to students about the obvious boycott of this school. Edie, are you going to continue to ride the bus now?
Yes.
Why are other students boycotting the buses?
Well, I don't know. It's okay with me. You know, I like it here.
Are you afraid going to Lincoln?
No.
How are you being treated?
Pretty nice. Everybody's been really nice to me.
Has anyone been abusive to you at all?
Well, not really. Not at all. It's really nice. I like it.
Are any of your friends boycotting the buses?
Not that I know of, sir. I lived out of the town before, and when I came back here and found out we were going to be bused, I didn't remember too many of the people here in Dallas, so I really don't know, sir.
How do you feel about going to Lincoln, previously all black?
Well, before I had a bad attitude toward it. I didn't know what it would be like, but now my first day here, I kind of like it. I think it's going to work out real swell.
Were you abused at all today?
No, sir, I was not.
No one had anything derogatory to say to you?
No, sir.
Thank you very much. We also talked to the principal here at Lincoln High School, Mr. Frederick Todd. We talked about the number of students who should be enrolled.
Well, actually, I don't know exactly how many will show up on the basis of the court order saying how many was expected to come on the census 2 years ago.
I think it would be around 250, wouldn't it?
Somewhere close to that.
Why are they staying away?
I really don't know.
250 students, new students at Lincoln High School should be leaving on buses just like this one this afternoon. But instead, there are only 16. This is Jim Mitchell, Channel 8 News on the Move.
We feel that this protest would let them know that the community, the black community, doesn't feel like they're in compliance with the law for an equal education.
Well, there is a desegregation suit before the courts. Can't you wait for that decision?
Well, we feel like maybe by protesting that this might help the decision along on the grounds that we do want equal opportunity, and not the idea that if a decision is reached that maybe it won't end up like perhaps the Dallas case ended up, whereas all black students were being bused. We mean an equal gain, whereas maybe both parties would be able to give a little bit and to take a little bit. This is what we were protesting.
Within the next several weeks, the dirt road over there will become a track toward greater learning of our country for many Fort Worth school students. These 240 acres near Eagle Mountain Lake in the northeast corner of Tarrant County will make up the Outdoor Learning Center. Out here, they'll build a couple of large dormitories, a cafetorium, administration building, caretaker's house, and a barn and corral. There will be animals, nature trails, and gardens so the students can learn firsthand about nature. About half a mile down there is Eagle Mountain Lake. This old corral, the only structure here on this land, will go to make room for the modern buildings. It's being financed by a $200,000 grant from the Ross Perot Foundation to be matched by $100,000 from the school district. Plans call for completion of the Outdoor Learning Center by September 1972. Then education will take on new dimensions, away from the classrooms to a sort of school away from school. Jerry Park, Channel 8 News on the Move at the site of the Outdoor Learning Center, Fort Worth.
Here on the campus of Rice University, the cheerleaders are getting ready for the year, as is the football team. They face a very tough schedule. They have a new coach in Bill Peterson. He's a very intelligent football coach, and with a few seasons of good recruiting, the Rice Owl fortunes in football could certainly go up. Coach Peterson talks about his offensive unit.
We're going to have 2 wide flankers, and we're going to throw the football. We're going to run the football. But we think that, just analyzing it real quickly, that our first line, although we got a couple chronic injuries that we worry about, we got a solid first line if they stay together, if we can keep them together. I think our receivers have a potential to catch the ball, although they're very young, but they do have pretty good speed. I think our tight end's a plus for us. I think he is an outstanding man. I think he can really be a great help to us. Our offensive backs, and Vincent and Mike Phillips, I think they're adequate to run our offense.
Well, what goals have you set for yourself in this year?
I really haven't set any personal goals this year.
I did last year and it kind of fell apart, so I thought, I'm kind of superstitious, so I thought I wouldn't set it this year. I just hope that the team has a lot of success.
Well, the squad that we have left right now, we're kind of short, you know, a lot of guys quit, but, you know, we don't even worry about the guys quit. We just want to, you know, care about the guys who are still there. And we're really, you know, real enthusiastic about Coach Pete and the rest of the coaches. They have a lot of confidence, and they, you know, they give you a lot of enthusiasm, and, you know, it just make you where you know want to go out there and win and have pride and everything, character. And I think Coach Pete's a real fine man, and he's not worried about, you know, because we're lack of depth, you know, and we're just going to go out there and give it all we got with what we got.
The quarterbacks and Bruce Gadd and Philip Wood, I've been impressed with the way they've adapted to our type of offense, the way they've been reading football keys.
Into TCU, I know there's a great deal of discipline up there, and the coaches are rather hard-nosed. How about Coach Pete's staff?
Well, I've read all sorts of things about TCU's hard-nosed coaching staff and everything, and ours is quite different from what it used to be. It's they are hard-nosed, and they like to, I mean, things have got to be done their way, and it just takes a little getting used to. And I think that's might have been part of the reason we lost a lot of players in the coaching change, the same way TCU did. Everybody have coaching change, you lose a lot of players, and that's mainly one of the reasons, I guess.
Our defensive football team, I think, are small. They don't have a lot of strength. I think we're going to have to maneuver them well as a coaching staff. I think that solidly, because of the movement and the quickness that they have, that our first unit will be adequate. Although I really feel that we got to have some depth there. Some young kids have got to come through if we're be able to compete with our schedule.
I guess you're glad to have Rodrigo Barnes and Dale Grounds back there, aren't you?
Well, I think Rodrigo Barnes can be a great linebacker. I really do that. I think Mike Tyler has proven himself as being a great cornerback.
How do you like Coach Peterson's new regime?
Well, to me, he's the closest thing to a perfect coach that I've ever seen. I mean, he's got good public relations, and he has a good player-coach relationship, you know, and he's tough. So he's a real fine coach, and a guy just couldn't ask for more if he took advantage, you know, of the things that he offered.
I think we'll have a pretty good season. It's going to be tough because we don't have many men. I think that if we go 6-7-4 would really be what a good deal to shoot at, because we're playing 5 teams in the top 20, so it's going to be pretty tough.
And I think Dale Grounds has certainly adapted to the new position that we moved him well, and he's a great senior leader for us, and we're real impressed with him. We do have some good linebackers in Ray Bashirs and a boy by the name of John Kelly, and I think that's our strong point of our defense is our linebacker core and our secondary. Our front four worries us because of the size that they have and the inexperience that they have. But we've got to do something to maneuver them, and then depth is again a problem.
The Rice Owls open their football season next Saturday night, just a few blocks from here, before 72,000 fans against the University of Houston. It should be an auspicious occasion. This is Jerry Haynes for Channel 8 Sports.
We have attained the services of Polk, Larson, and Clapton.
You please go ahead and remove.
And I'm going to talk about the credibility of that committee. And as getting a haircut, they are trying to disallow me to have freedom of thought, philosophy, and attitude, and I will not allow that.
I was in my office, and my son called and said he had been jumped by 5 boys. And my first question was, had he been hurt? And he said no, that he had a busted lip. And the second question was, have you reported it to the principal? And he said yes. And I said, well, what are they doing about it? And he said that he just said that he had been transferred over there, and that they were going to have to make the best, just make it do, that they just had to tough it out. That nobody liked it, but they just had to tough it out. And so he decided that they also tried to ask him if he had money and wanted that.
I'm Susie Basinger, and I have 3 girls, 2 that are supposed to attend Bowd Story and 1 at Roosevelt. And I was afraid that something would happen to them today, and I did not send them to school. I put 5 children in James Bowie as their younger children, and they are still there. But the other 3 I did not send because I was afraid they'd get hurt, and I'm not going to send them because I don't want them hurt. And if the things that have been done and said to these girls out there today, if something like that was said to one of my kids, somebody would get hurt.
Today I was going down the hall, and there was a whole bunch of boys around me, and they had chains, and one stopped and says, "Hey, you," and so I turned around, and one hit me right here on the right of my shoulder, and that's when they started to fight with my brother.
And then some more started fighting with me, and then I went over to the store, and that's when that kid hit me in the eye. And then they kept on pushing me down the steps. And that's about it.
What about John?
Yeah, and they stole my lunch money and everything.
Okay.
People of middle income are having great difficulty in purchasing new or existing homes, and of course I think there has been some resentment. I would say that this is meant in a sense to alleviate the situation, but primarily it is meant to keep the level of housing starts nationally up, because that not only means that more housing is provided for the American people, but it also means that our economy is maintained at a high level. It means more jobs for people in the construction trades. It means more activity in terms of all the things that go into a house.
School D. Walker is a brand new school this year. It's full of new ideas, new concepts, even a new way of telling time. However, right now it lacks a few things that you'd expect to find even in a one-room schoolhouse. A lot of tables and chairs, books on the shelves, food in the cafeteria, and even air conditioning, and the windows don't open. What went wrong? Principal Robert Quast explains.
Actually, Judy, there were a few things that we did have to go wrong. Primarily the plumbers, the air conditioning, the plumber's strike has held us up. We were planning on moving in earlier than the first part of September, but as you can see, we do have some furniture in place. The youngsters, the staff have been just great in helping us get everything started. Our textbooks are coming in, our supplies and equipment are coming in every day. I can't tell you exactly when all of the equipment and furniture will be in place, but we are working on it.
Have you had any problems?
Yes, we've had some problems. I think probably no more than any other school, and I'd say probably less than, I shouldn't say less than most schools rather, but we've had problems of getting to know each other because we're all new to each other, the staff and the students. We're new to the building, and again, I'd like to say that the people involved did a tremendous job in helping us get started.
You seem to have maintained your sense of humor throughout. Is this typical of everybody on the staff?
Yes, it is. The students and staff alike have all worked real hard to try to make allowances for people who make mistakes. We try to assist each other, and of course, this is what we're going to continue to do, to assist each other to make this the finest school we can.
Florence, how do you like eating on the floor?
Just great.
Kids can overcome some of the worst difficulties. For Channel 8 News on the Move, this is Judy Hanna.
According to the agenda, we are now having a statement by the President. At this time on the agenda is the statement by the President, which I will proceed with.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. Was this agenda adopted by the State Committee?
This agenda was put out by the President.
Was this agenda adopted by the State Committee? Can I get a...
This agenda was put out by the President.
Well, I believe that it's kind of policy that anything that's still on the agenda that has to be adopted by the State Committee.
I would like, Mr. Lilly, I would like to proceed with the statement of the President.
Yeah, I know you would, but I understand what you would like to do. I'm sorry. I understand what you would like to do with the gentleman, and I understand that very well. But what I'm saying is this: if in fact this statement you're about to make and the other things on the agenda has not been adopted by the Executive Committee of the Dallas County Community Action Agency, it is not the agenda of this board meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move the adoption.
Mr. Chairman, I have asked for the floor continuously, and if you recognize this man, that's a serious breach of courtesy and everything else. Somehow stay on this vote. Mr. Chairman,
He is my portion. Yes, I've found a wonderful Savior who so freely blesses me ever. I am His, praise God, and He is mine.
About 1:50 p.m., a white male stepped into our main lobby. He requested from one of the tellers a blank check. The teller informed him that she did not keep a check in her cage and that if he would step over to customer service window, he would be supplied a check. He then asked that she give him a handful of 20s, and she asked him to repeat his statement. He said he wanted at least 6 20s and a handful of other currency.
There was a sad little ceremony this morning on the flight line at Carswell. The last 2 bombers attached to the 340th Bomb Group prepared to make their last takeoff from this field. They took with them a Texas flag presented by the Fort Worth Air Power Council and the fond wishes of scores of Fort Worth citizens. It was like saying goodbye to a bunch of old friends because the first F-111 ever built took off from this same field more than 5 years ago. Now the camouflaged birds are off to join their brothers at Pease Air Force Base in New Hampshire and at Plattsburgh in New York. When you've stood for hours, as I have, on the flight line to watch the streamlined craft lift into the sky, when you've driven down Fort Worth's West Freeway and watched sunlight dance off swept wings, or best of all, seen a 111 bomber come soaring out of the fog and the mist like a ghost ship with a green and brown shroud, you know you're going to miss something tomorrow when they're gone. I followed these planes to Florida and to England. I've picked through the wreckage of crashed bombers, and I know I'm going to miss them, and the men who flew them. Jay Lewis, Channel 8 News on the Move, Carswell Air Force Base.
Either the board, as constituted by the Constitution, in other words, the Attorney General, the Lieutenant Governor, the Speaker, the Land Commissioner, and the Controller, will have to do the redistricting. Or Governor Smith can call us back into special session and let us do it again. The third alternative that I don't even want to think about is a statewide race for everybody.
What about a third special session? Do you think that's a good possibility? What are the ramifications of that?
There's only one man in the state that can call a special session, and that's the governor. I personally do not look forward to one. I'm kind of just as soon that the board went ahead and did the redistricting.
Why do you not look forward to a special session?
Well, there's just so many problems that wouldn't even begin to be solved. And I mean, if he called a special session, well then we'd be in the middle of a hassle all over again, and I don't think that the state's ready for it. I know I'm not.
Well, now, as far as how long, we originally called for a one-day boycott, but the federal judge gave the children each Friday off, ones who would voluntarily go to another school. By the same token, I'm calling now, at this time, for a boycott each Monday, every Monday, of all children in Dallas, of all schools, until the school board of this city will go into the federal courts and request a realignment of the districts other than the way they're set up at the present time.
Do you honestly think that 180,000 school children in the city of Dallas are going to stay home every Monday?
No, there won't be 180,000. If we can get any percentage of that 180,000, we'll feel that we'll be effective because the Dallas Independent School District obtains state funds by the number of children attending school each day.